All right. I think we're recording. All right, so I will start. I am Miranda Roberts, and I am the Director of International Programs in the College of Engineering here at the University of Michigan. And I am the lead for the Big Ten network of schools who have come together to collaborate with our colleagues at UCD to create this very special engineering summer program that is offering our equivalent of Physics 240, 241. So we'll get right into the info session in a bit, but I want to do a quick introduction. So I'll pass it off to my colleague Diane here on the U of M side, and then we'll flip over to UCD.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diane Saran. I'm the Assistant Director and a little bit new to Michigan, but not new to sending engineers abroad. I used to work at the University of Pittsburgh, and I'm really excited to be a part of IPE. And I hope many of you are getting excited about going abroad this summer.
All right. And now over to our UCD colleagues. I'll pass it over to maybe William, and then you can circulate through the UCD colleagues.
Thanks very much, Miranda, for hosting us this afternoon or this morning in Michigan. I'm delighted to meet you all and to welcome you. My name is William Mulligan. I'm the head of the School of History, and we're privileged to run this summer school with our colleagues in physics and look forward to welcoming you this summer, but I'll pass you over to Roisin Coley, who's managing the program and has put considerable work into planning for summer 2022. Roisin.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Big Ten Summer School 2022 information session. Thanks all for joining us. As William said, my name is Roisin, and I'm the summer school coordinator for the School of History here at UCD. So the plan is to just take you through our plans for summer school 2022, which should take about 15 minutes. And then we've allocated 15 minutes at the end. If anyone has any questions, we'd be delighted to answer them. So I'm just going to share my screen. Miranda, I think you need to enable that for me. Great. Thanks, Miranda. And present.
Well, that's loading. Do you want to, Padre?
Sure. Yeah, and can I pass over to Porrick, who's from physics, to introduce himself?
Yeah, so my name is Porrick John, and welcome this morning for you guys. I'm the person who runs the physics program in the School of Physics in UCD, and I'm looking forward to telling you a little bit about that. I think when it comes to my slide, I might just speak up for that bit, but it's very nice to meet you and to meet those of you who get this on recording later.
And Fionnuala.
Hi everyone, I'm Fionnuala Walsh. I'm professor in history in UCD, and I'm the academic director of the history part of the program, and I'm looking forward to meeting you all later.
Great. And Suzanne.
It's Suzanne Shorten. I don't know a lot about physics. I know a little bit about history, and this is an important week in Ireland, but I'm the person who deals with a few practical matters, such as your housing when you're at University College Dublin, and some nice activities that will be available to you when you are on campus in summer 2022.
Great, and then we'll come back full circle to the School of History and Darcy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Darcy Jackson. I'm the school manager in School of History in UCD. I lead the team, the admin team in School of History, and we'll be supporting Roisin this summer with the summer school. So I look forward to meeting you all in Dublin.
Great. Well, thanks very much, everyone, for introducing yourselves, and we might move on to the presentation now, I suppose.
Okay, I'm just sharing my screen here. waiting for it to load. Okay, great. Okay, so the upcoming Big Ten Summer School will take place over 7 weeks in the summer of 2022 from May 22nd to July 8th. Students arriving to Dublin for the summer school will be greeted at Dublin Airport by our UCD student ambassadors and directed to onward transport to our campus here at UCD, where you'll be greeted and shown to your accommodation. So I think Miranda, did you add this slide?
I did. Yep. This is just a brief overview of what the program entails from the U of M perspective. So you will be taking classes taught by our colleagues at UCD. The course that is on offer is equivalent to our Physics 240, 241. So you'll earn 5 credits for the physics, both of those courses combined. And then they are offering a Modern Ireland history course, which we have counted, or it's equivalent to our history 300 level for 3 credits. And then lots of excursions, which we will get into in a little bit. And just an overview of what the dates are. So arrival is May 22nd through July 8th. The cost for the program is $7,425. And we'll get into what that includes in a later slide. And as Suzanne already mentioned, you'll be living on campus in on-campus housing. And so she'll explain a little bit about that and the amenities that you can look forward to. And then application deadline. So we are running a priority deadline, which is December 14th, so that students who apply by that deadline can get an admissions decision in time that they could alter their winter semester schedule plans. So if you know that you got into the program, for example, you know that you can take Physics 240 this summer and then you won't have to take it in winter term. So that was our idea behind the priority deadline, to give students some flexibility over what courses they plan to take for winter. But if things don't work out and you don't get your application in by the 14th, the final deadline will be February 14th for the program. And then just real quick, who is eligible? So from U of M, we're looking at a 3.0 GPA or higher. You have to be a current COE undergraduate student in good academic standing. You have to have completed your freshman year or above. So that means if you're a freshman this year, you're eligible because you'll be a rising sophomore at the start of the program. And then just to reiterate, all program courses are taught in English. So no foreign language is needed. And then, as I promised, what's included in that fee? So it's on-site housing, which you'll learn more about today. Our required health insurance policy that U of M has called Geo Blue. So you'll be covered while you're abroad. Orientation, pre-departure here at U of M and IPE. We offer an orientation program. That's all included. The tuition for the 2 courses that you'll be taking at UCD, any electronic textbooks that are required is included in that fee. Unique to UCD program is a meal plan. So students that are on this program will have 2 meals per day, Monday through Friday, in the student cafeterias. And then all of the on-site orientation, welcome package, some of the social programming that we'll get into, and the excursions are all included in that price. And you'll also receive a local transportation pass that has about 20 euros preloaded onto it so that you can get around Dublin City while you are there. What it does not include are what we consider out-of-pocket expenses. So things like your airfare, your round-trip airfare from the US to Ireland is not included. So that would be in addition to that. Any independent travel you're planning to do in Ireland while you're there this summer would be additional expenses. Anything you may need, like personal supplies while you're there, including meals on the weekends, would be things that you would need to plan for to be out of pocket. And if you don't already have a passport, you'll need to apply for a US passport and any of those kind of related travel documents. And on mCompass, that's the U of M's system for international applications and program materials, there is a section, a detailed section for costs for this program. And there will be an updated budget sheet that will be loaded, hopefully by the end of this week, to outline some of these out-of-pocket expenses.
Oh, That's me again. So your stay at Dublin will kick off when you arrive at Dublin Airport, and some of our friendly student ambassadors will be greeting you off your flight and directing you to your transport to UCD, as I said, where you'll be greeted and shown to your accommodation. So here's our beautiful campus here. So I'll give you a little bit of information about UCD itself. So University College Dublin is currently ranked within the top 1% of higher education institutions worldwide, and is the first choice for Irish students. UCD is also Ireland's most globally engaged university with over 33,000 students. The university's main Dublin campus offers world-leading facilities, including the UCD O'Brien Centre for Science, where you'll be partially based, and also the UCD Student Centre, where you will have the use of the Olympic-sized swimming pool and state-of-the-art gym facilities. UCD is well situated in terms of public transport, with links to the city centre in under 15 minutes, and to the beautiful Dublin East Coast in about 10 minutes. So a little bit about life on UCD campus. UCD is situated on 320 acres of natural woodland with beautiful wooded walkways for when you want to take a break from your studies. There is an on-campus grocery store where you can buy your groceries and provisions, and you'll be provided with lunch and dinner Monday to Friday in the main restaurant, where vegetarians will be catered for and a full salad bar will be provided. On full day excursions, you'll be provided with a packed lunch. So there is superb on-campus housing and a brand new student village, which my colleague Suzanne will talk about in more detail later. So a little bit of information about Dublin itself. Dublin is situated on the east coast of Ireland and is one of the safest capital cities in the world. The city centre itself is small and very accessible by foot. Getting around Dublin is easy. Just jump on the coastal train known as the DART to discover the towns and villages dotted along the coast, or use the public bus network to travel the city and the suburbs. There is the Lewis tram system to get you around the city centre, as well as bicycle hire throughout the city. And as Miranda mentioned earlier, each student will be provided with a preloaded Leap card, which will allow you to travel across bus, tram and rail options around the city every day. So I will hand you over to my colleague Fionnuala Walsh, who will talk through the history programme in a bit more detail.
Great, thanks very much for that, Roisin. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, so the history programme is really designed to offer an introduction to the place where you will be studying. We thought it'd be an awful shame for you to come all the way to Dublin to learn physics, but not learn anything about the country that you will be spending 7 weeks in. It's designed very much as an introductory course, so there's no prior expectation that you will know anything about Ireland previously, or indeed that you will have a strong background in history. We will train you up on the skills that are required to complete all of the assessments, and it will be all provided at the level as an introduction to Irish history. It's exploring Ireland from the Revolution in the early 20th century, from the Easter Rising, 1916, the foundation of the state in 1922, right up to the present day, looking at issues such as the establishment of the Irish Republic and Northern Ireland, the changing Anglo-Irish relationship, so bringing it from the fight for independence right up to Brexit, which of course is having ongoing implications for our relationship with our neighbour Ireland, and the emergence of a modern secular society. So the course is also social history, looking at changing attitudes towards religion, towards politics, towards popular culture and so forth. And it includes examination of music. There's a playlist specifically provided for students on the course. We also look very much at the relationship between Ireland and America. So looking at the high rates of emigration from Ireland to America from the 1850s right into the 20th century, and the development of strong links of Irish communities abroad, and the ongoing important transatlantic relationship. So looking at this in history, but also looking at it in the present day and thinking about Europe and America. So we have a couple of classes at the end looking at this in a very modern context. They'll give you a sense of where this stands in the current day. Could you just move on to the next slide, Roisin?
Sorry, Fionnuala, I'm trying here, but I can't seem to.
Oh, was it frozen?
It has frozen. Miranda, can you? Apologies. I can try again. No, I'm sorry, it's frozen.
I can just talk through. So it's basically just say that the classes take place across lectures, small group tutorials, and then weekly field trips to historic sites in Dublin and outside Dublin. It also includes a field trip to Belfast City, which is just 2 hours outside Dublin. We will be looking at various historic sites relating to the establishment in Northern Ireland and also the Northern Irish Troubles. The assessment is based on class participation, so participation particularly in the tutorials and in the field trips, an essay which is worth 30%, and an exam at the end which is worth 50%. And again, there's specific workshops around the essay and exam to prepare you for these assessments. And there's also film screenings and a trip to the theatre. So it's all intended to give you a strong sense of the history of Ireland and the background to the country that you will be in, and as well as developing some key skills in writing and analysis.
Thanks, Fionnuala. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I'll hand over to Pádraig now, and he can give a more insight into the physics program at UCD.
Thanks, Roisin. Yeah, so the physics program is kind of standard engineering too, as it's known around the world. It's kind of electrostatics, electromagnetism, magnetism, different types of circuits, electromagnetic waves, and then taking that towards optics, optical instruments, wave optics, so diffraction interference, and then it finishes up with some teaching about relativity. And the content, it's a calculus-based course, and the textbook is a calculus-based textbook. The teaching is broken into kind of 3 main components. There's lectures, which are 2 hours long, about 17 of them in the period. There's 2-hour tutorials where you work in groups of 3 and you work through problems in the tutorial with the support of the tutors, and they are assessed every second tutorial. Typically is assessed for grade, but you do get to work as a team and you get to ask lots of questions of the tutors. And then the third part is laboratory, where you work in pairs. There's 6 of those. They're 3 hours long, and they are experiments involving diffraction interference, lenses and optics, lenses and mirrors, measuring the speed of light, things like that. The heat capacity and power in a circuit experiment. There's a resonance experiment in an electrical circuit. So there's a lot of hands-on in those, and you write up your lab report in those in the 3 hours and hand it in. So once you leave the lab, it's finished with, and you get feedback in the next lab. And the grading then of the module is based, or of the course, the tutorials and problem sets that you get are 15%. The midterm, there's a midterm exam, which is 10%. It's an MCQ exam. The labs are 25%, and the final exam is 50%. And the final exam involves problems and some short essay writing, written chapters, which you probably aren't used to, and it's a different style of assessment. But it's something you get supported in tutorials, and you can learn to adapt to pretty quickly. And the whole program then is taught in the Science Centre, the O'Brien Centre for Science, which you saw on earlier pages, in very modern labs and very modern theatres, quite close to the place where you get fed, which is convenient. And I think, yeah, that's me finished. So I'll hand back to you, Roisin.
That's great, Pádraig. Thanks a million. So I'll hand over to Suzanne now.
Thank you, Roisin.
Talk us through the student housing at UCD.
Okay, so obviously on a practical level, you're going to want to know where are you living when you come to University College Dublin. Well, it gives us pride to say that we're very proud to say rather that we have probably the best student housing in Ireland and possibly in Europe as well. One of the things that always surprises the students when they come to UCD from the US is that everyone gets their own bedroom. So I think in the US, a lot of people in the student dorms that you share the housing, maybe you share with another student, but you will have your own bedroom when you come to UCD. And also you will be sharing a suite. Okay, so there'll be 4 bedrooms in that suite. Other students, you'll be sharing with other students who'll also be doing the Big Ten program at UCD in summer 2022. There'll be 4 bedrooms, there'll be 2 bathrooms, and you'll have a little living area with a kitchen, very fast Wi-Fi, 24-hour reception. We will supply linen and we will change that once a week and give the suite a little bit of a cleaning at the same time. Obviously, Roisin mentioned earlier that you will be catered to with 2 meals a day, Monday to Friday when you're doing the program, but you'll be able to prepare light meals in your suite, etc. But in addition to that, we have a new student. It's called The Village. It's a big student center in the housing, opening at the end of January 2022. And in that, there's going to be a big food hall. There's also going to be a huge grocery store. There is a smaller one there already, but it's about 3 times the size. In addition to that, there will be a big theatre. There will be a cinema. There will be films showed a couple of times a week. In addition to that, there's music performance rooms, there's study rooms, etc. So all of your needs will be catered to. The other thing in our office that obviously housing is number 1, but also the welcome for our summer visitors is very important to us, and we get involved in things like meeting you at the airport. And you saw that photograph earlier, and that was of actual team members who worked with me back in 2019, and we took that photograph at Dublin Airport, so they're easily identifiable. When you arrive, we want to make sure that you're welcome from the get-go and that you become oriented in Dublin and oriented on the campus very quickly. We also run a series of events, not just for your program, but for all the summer programs. So if you've time, sometimes in the evening, if you're not studying, etc., we might do things like introduction to Irish Gaelic games such as hurling. We might do a trip to Dunleary, which is a little coastal town very close by, about 20 minutes from the campus. Any student that comes to UCD absolutely loves to see it, loves to walk the pier and maybe take a dip in the sea and maybe get a whipped ice cream. We might even go to the Phoenix Park another day, which is in Dublin, and it is the largest city park in Europe. I'm not even sure of the size, but it is huge, and the students love that as well. But most of all, we look forward to welcoming you in summer 22. But the other thing I might say at this point, if any of you are on Instagram, if you follow Summer at UCD, you'll get an idea of some of the activities that we're planning and some of the activities that we have done before with the students that have visited us in previous years. That's it. Also, as the slide says, you have complimentary access to the gym, to the swimming pool, etc.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Suzanne. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes, yeah, okay, good. That's brilliant. Thanks a million, Suzanne. So I'll just take us through our course-related field trips. So as part of your coursework, you will be required to attend the following organised tours, and all tours will have private bus round-trip transfer from UCD. So kicking off, we will start off in Croke Park, I think on your first week. This is the home of Gaelic Games and is Ireland's largest sporting arena and brings together Ireland's national sport, heritage and living culture all in one location. So this is a 1-hour guided tour behind the scenes. Next up, you'll visit Molly, which is the Museum of Literature in Ireland, where you'll immerse yourself in the sounds of Irish storytelling across the centuries, trace the footsteps of James Joyce's Dublin, and encounter rare gems from the National Library, excuse me, including copy number 1 of Ulysses, one of the most important works of modern literature. Then you will visit the National Library of Ireland, where you'll find the most comprehensive collection of Irish documentary material in the world, and offers an invaluable representation of Ireland's history and heritage, and houses 3 main exhibitions, which are the National Photographic Archive, Seamus Heaney, the Poet Laureate, and the life and work of W.B. Yeats, one of the great poets of the 20th century. Next, you will visit EPIC Museum, or the Emigration Museum, located in the heart of Dublin city centre. This is a fully interactive experience, and the museum will guide visitors as they uncover the dramatic and inspiring stories of the Irish people who travelled the world in search of a new life. Next up is Glasnevin Cemetery. The stories of 1.5 million people are faithfully preserved at Ireland's largest burial place, a beautifully restored Victorian cemetery featuring epic monuments to Ireland's past. From poets and presidents, singers and suffragettes, the stories of those who shaped our nation's history are brought to life, not literally though. And finally, we will have a full day trip to Belfast, which is just 2 hours north of Dublin. Belfast is another vibrant city and sits in what is politically another country. Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, and so in 2 hours you can enter a different jurisdiction. You'll visit the world famous Titanic Belfast Museum, the entrance of which you can see on the screen here. And afterwards, a local guide will join us on our buses and bring us on a political tour of West Belfast. So then you'll have some time after that to yourselves to discover Belfast City, to have some lunch, or you could visit some of its stores for shopping, or just relax before returning to Dublin. And finally, we have also included 2 cultural trips, which will be the highlight of your stay in Ireland. First of which is Glendalough, which you can see on the right-hand side of the screen here, which is located in a stunning glaciated valley in County Wicklow. And in the 6th century, one of Ireland's most revered saints founded a monastery here at Glendalough, which became one of the most famous religious centres in Europe. So you'll learn all about this hallowed place in the interpretive centre before exploring the site. And then we'll have a full day trip to the Cliffs of Moher and to Galway City. The Cliffs of Moher are the most visited natural attraction in Ireland and one of Ireland's favourite visitor experiences. They tower over the rugged West Clare coast, and you can actually walk the safe paved pathways and view the cliffs on Europe's western frontier and enjoy the spectacular views over the Atlantic Ocean. So then we'll stop off at medieval Galway City in the afternoon and have a stroll through its old streets before returning back to Dublin. And just to add that these trips will include a private bus transfer to and from UCD, and packed lunches will be provided from our on-campus caterers. So I'll hand you back over to Miranda now, and thank you for listening.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm excited. I want to go. I wish I was a student again. All right. So a few practical next steps. If this has piqued your interest and you're wanting to apply to the program, so you can find the application, like I mentioned earlier, in mCompass. Once again, the priority deadline is December 14th. If you haven't yet already, I would suggest you sign up to attend one of our Summer 101 advising sessions that really helps kind of walk you through what the application process is, what are all the different pieces, how to make your application the strongest it can be. Some of those more practical items are discussed in that session, and they're currently offered on Fridays. And I'll share the slides so you can have all the links as well after this meeting. But yes, you should, if you don't already have a passport, you should definitely want to apply for one and use the winter holiday break to do that, because you'll need your original birth certificate and some documents that you may have at home with your parents and guardians. And so over break is a perfect time to do that. The US, things are a little bit backed up, and so it's taking even longer to receive passports for first-time applicants. So this is definitely something that you should do right away and plan to do over break. And just giving you some, guidelines on terms of how quickly you will hear back. So we will review applications and then do admissions decisions a week after the deadline. And then if you are admitted to the program, you would have a week to confirm your participation. And so again, that's hopefully all will happen before the winter holidays. Also, suggest that you read through the frequently asked questions on the IPE website. A lot of the common questions that we get from students, we've answered on there, so you can read through that. If you aren't already on our newsletter, please sign up. This is where we announce new programs, announce scholarship opportunities, other on-campus events that we're hosting will all come through the newsletter. So if you're not already on that list, you'll want to add yourself so that you can stay up to date on all things happening within IPE. And then if you still have questions about the program or about the application after having gone to the 101 advising session and reading the FAQs, please reach out and schedule a one-on-one advising session with an advisor in our office. And I think next slide, I think that's all. The information, and now it's questions. So students, if you have questions for our UCD colleagues, you can unmute yourself, or if you feel more comfortable putting them in chat, we can address your questions that way. We'll take about 5 minutes or so to make sure we get all the questions answered. In the chat. Oh yes, and thanks, Diane. She has put in the link to sign up for the newsletter and also the link for what Suzanne had mentioned in Instagram, Summer at UCD. All right, any questions? Don't be shy. How many of you have already started your application? You raise your hand or use the reaction, raise your hand, yeah. Okay, great. Yay. Awesome.
I have a question.
Sure.
I see someone here today, one of the students obviously interested in applying for the program, and she has a very Irish sounding surname, and her name is Sydney Shanahan, and I'm wondering, does she have strong links to Ireland?
Yeah, so a lot of my family's from Ireland, my grandparents on both sides, and we immigrated to the US in the late 1900s, so I have our immigration papers. Some of it's written in Gaelic, so it's really cool, and I'm excited to go back to see the country that my family's from.
That's good. I'm guessing the Shanahans were from Kerry. Would that be correct?
I'm not sure exactly where we're from.
Okay, well, try and ask before you come, because maybe you might get an opportunity to visit the town or the village where they're from. And just something to mention that I obviously Roisin covered Dublin, etc. But Ireland is physically the same size as roughly the state of Indiana. So you can get pretty much anywhere in Ireland within about 3 to 4 hours. So it could be easily done.
Thank you for the information.
That's good.
All right, not seeing any questions. that's all right. That means we did our job. We covered all of the important information in our information session. So thanks, Roisin, for putting together those awesome slides, and Suzanne and Poreg and William and Fiona for sharing about the program. So I think the next step is I will save this recording and get it sent out to the students that weren't able to join us today, and as well as the slides in a PDF format so that you can access all the information that was shared today. So thank you everyone for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your afternoons.
Great. Thanks everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you in the
Okay,
summer.
bye-bye.
Bye.